what we're going to use is what's called a blanket stitch or a buttonhole stitch, or in millinery world is called a wiring stitch. These are in the written instructions that you have. If you need to see it, it's also in your textbook. So it's very simple stitch. So I have a thread that I have doubled over, and I've put a knot in the end of both threads at the same time here, so you can see my knot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a stitch through the buckram, and let's get a little closer. I'm going to take a stitch through the back of the buckram this way, and I'm going to pull the thread through, but don't pull the thread all the way through, because your knot will go through the buckram. So now this is the only really tricky part of this stitch, is we have this little loop here. So it's important that you take your needle, and I've got my thread going around. I'm going to go back behind that loop where the knot is, and I'm going to go between the two threads. If you can see, I'm going between the two threads from the back side, and I'm going to pull that tight. And that's going to lock the wire in. You'll see that the knot ends up being on the back side. That's going to lock my wire in. Now I'm going to go over about 1/4 inch and go from the back side again. Now you see this loop that's coming up in the back. You see the loop? I'm going to go from the back of that loop. I'm going around, and I'm coming from the back of the loop forward. And you'll see what that does is it makes a kind of a knot right here, like a half knot right here, and then it's keeping this thread at the edge of your wire. So let's do that again. We're going to go from the back to the front, go back through the loop from the back side, and pull that thread. So doing it one more time. If you can see, I'm holding the thread around my finger. Now you don't want it to crisscross like this, because what will happen is if I go through this loop, it will be essentially going through the front of the knot. You want to go through the loop this way and go through the back. What will happen is if you go from the front to the back, the thread will wrap around the wire instead of sitting here right on the edge. And this is what you want, is you want this nice flat stitching all the way around. Now as you get to the different sections, you can see that tape. So I'm going from the back, the front, through the loop, and over. So you just keep going all the way around till you get so that your thread is short enough to start to make a knot. Now this is going to be covered. Now if you were making a buttonhole or doing this as a decorative blanket stitch, you'd want to be much more careful about your stitching. You get to the end, you're going to take a stitch through your buckram. Make sure you just catch a couple different threads there. And the next stitch, make sure you leave a loop of thread. You're going to come back through the bottom, go through your loop twice,